Hey y'all, it's Sharon and I'm back to share another policing experience with you guys. If you're new to the channel, I am a retired detective. I worked for 20 years for a southeastern city in the US and I was also in the military. I am sharing my policing experiences along with some military experiences and perspective in hopes of helping others see from a position of an officer, female, and how I saw things at times and how me going through the ostracism and the retaliation of whistleblowing helped me find out some things about myself. And hopefully by sharing, I can help you guys or help someone see something differently. And with that being said, the title, I was thinking about an experience I had in policing. And I remember in the academy, they talked about the collective knowledge doctrine. And that basically means as an officer, I gather enough information to come up with probable cause to arrest. And once I do that, I can call another officer and like, look, I want to arrest this person. And the knowledge that I have is attributed to that officer so we can make the arrest, right? And I remember we were doing a detail and I forgot what it was called. We named the detail, but I don't remember what it's called. But we had someone watching a known house that sells drugs, and he's calling out the vehicles and the people walking up and giving descriptions. And then in turn, we're like a block over, 2 blocks over. We'll pull them over once the officer acknowledges that he saw them make the buy, the drugs are probably still in their hands, da-da-da. So we got the make and model of the car, I don't remember, brown sedan. My partner and I, we get behind it. We put the lights on, horn, siren, everything. They did not stop. Now, I probably have been in more than 300 car chases, and that's being modest. But this was a low-key car chase. They were going 25 miles per hour. They just refused to stop. So we're the primary car, which is the car directly behind the car that's being pursued. And so we're like, why aren't they stopping? I could see a male, a female, what looked to be 2 teenage boys, maybe 15, 19, and an older woman, but they wouldn't stop. So we're calling it out. Now there's about 5 cars in back of us that I can see looking out the side view mirror. We get down to a certain highway and we're basically going in like a half-mile circle. By the time we got back to the starting point, there were probably 10, 15 cars in this chase. When I tell you officers are pulling up next to the car, pull over, pull over. And I'm just sitting there, I'm trying to call it out. And they finally stop in front of a Burger King. I'm just gonna give you that as a location. They stop, I get out the car and I go up to the side, the driver's side, and I'm looking in. And I look in and I can see this older woman, she's sitting in the back. I see the male and the female in the front. I see the 2 teenage boys in the back and the older female in the middle. Now, what made me hesitate was I saw her and she looked at me. This is an older lady, very frail. There was a glob of mucus coming from under her chin into what looked like a huge terry cloth bib. And I looked and I was like, oh. And by the time I said, oh, all the other officers were running, get out the way, get out the way. And they're pulling them out the car, get out the car, get out the car. And putting them in handcuffs, laying them on the ground. And so I just backed up, right? The collective knowledge, remember that? What the officer saw, he saw them. He called out the clothing and everything perfectly. They get him up against the wall over by this Burger King. And I walk over and I see something, but I'm not sure. I look at the 19-year-old male, I think it was 19, 18. And I said, what is that right there? Because I saw some sores, I wasn't sure. And he flipped his hair back and he's like, oh, we have MRSA. And I said, you have what? And he said, we have MRSA. And then I look at grandma, mom, dad, and the younger boy, and they all have these sores and it's just really bad. The officers hear MRSA and now they're like, what? And they're screaming, we gotta wash your hands, we gotta wash your hands. So they run into the Burger King. Burger King gives them bleach and all that stuff. And they wash their hands. One guy tried to give me back my handcuffs. I was like, no, you can keep it. And I say that to say the collective knowledge in knowing, okay, They got the dope. They had the heroin. Oh, by the way, the reason why they didn't stop, they told me they wanted to use the heroin before they got arrested. So that's why they took us on that little low speed 25-mile-per-hour stop, refusing to stop, because mom, dad, the two boys, and the grandmother were on heroin, and they wanted to use it before they got arrested. So going back to the MRSA, everybody in the car had MRSA. I look at it as a blessing in a sense that I hesitated because I saw the sores. Now, did the officer see the sores and just didn't think anything of it? I don't know, but we kind of needed that to kind of react a little bit differently. You know, we kind of needed that. Well, I see some sores. I don't know what it is, but I'm just letting you guys know. I don't know if he thought to say that but I would have said it, because when I looked in the car and I saw the grandmother, and she said she just had some kind of operation and it was draining. And then when I saw the sores, I was like, whoa. But everybody else running with that tunnel vision, get out the way. They pushed me out the way. That's happened before. And now now they're scared because MRSA, it's very contagious and it's a deadly bacteria. So they wash their hands, they got the bucket with the water, and now they're upset. They're upset because they came in contact. And I said to them, I was like, what are you upset about? Didn't you see me hesitate? Yeah, I saw you hesitate, but we just need to get him out the car. Okay, well, now you're upset because you didn't take a second to look and see what was going on in the car, that collective knowledge. But I also want to share this on a personal level to some degree. We do that in our personal lives. We take the word of other folks and we don't vet it a little bit more. Here's an example. I remember there was a sergeant coming to the unit and everybody was like, I don't like working for her. She's just a hard behind, and I just can't deal with it. I hope she doesn't stay because she's gonna make life hard. And I have to admit, when I first got on, I used to believe it. I used to believe every word coming out the sergeant's mouth. And not to say that it wasn't true, but I've learned to temper my understanding, if you will. But yeah, they said it, and at this time, I had already been on probably 7 years. And I've learned that my experience is not gonna be your experience. Meaning, yeah, she might be a hard behind or hard nose, but I'm gonna see for myself. And so once I got to know the sergeant, she was cool. She's just very by the book, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's the folks that, want to cut corners and do some things they don't have any business doing. Those are the ones that take issue. But that knowledge, they would say to me, Walters, you just think you all of that. No, I don't think I'm all of that. You think I'm all of that. And they used to say I was a smart behind, but whatever. I started to think more, if you will, instead of that blind allegiance. So the collective knowledge that officers give me, yeah, I'm listening, I hear you. I'm gonna make sure for myself. But a lot of officers don't, and that's why you see issues in the news and hitting social media. A lot of officers don't take the time to at least question what another officer says, especially if it's a sergeant or somebody higher up. There are different variables that play into that. I've mentioned it before about, people call it a quota or productivity. We call it productivity. I have to prove that I'm doing my work. So I go out and try to prove it by making arrests and getting traffic tickets. But then at the same time, remember I told you, we go into certain neighborhoods and oversaturate. There's so many different variables, you guys. So with the collective knowledge thing, and I'm gonna take the time to find out for myself. Yes, I hear what you're saying. You gave me this information. Now let me dissect it. Let me study and show myself approved. Because sometimes, a lot of times lately, all that information, the way you took it in, may not be the way I interpret it either. So it's just something to think about, guys. Hit like, subscribe, share if you will, comment, and the comment section below. We have an online store. Take a look at that. The link is in the description. I created some notebooks. The link for those are in the description. You don't have to go searching. They'll take you right to Amazon where the book is, notebooks. And with that being said, guys, always remember, you don't necessarily have to go through a thing to learn from it. Talk to you guys later. Bye.